All right, what's up? What's up? What's going on? This is a continuation of the accountant. Welcome to my channel. Welcome, Facebook. I am Angelica with End God's Timing, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this Let's Talk of the continuation of the accountant. So where I left off was a brief rollback, I guess you can say. I was talking about the effects that have different things that have affected the Black communities all over the world as a whole, a part of the dysfunction, the hurt, the pain, different things that we're experiencing, different things that are coming out and being more spoken about. I mentioned the breakup of the home, the buck breaking, slavery as a whole, just how so many different things that we have been impacted by throughout generation through generation that are affecting us even now today. I mentioned the feminist movement, single parent homes, fatherless homes, all these different things that have played a grand impact um, in our function, our mental, how we grow, just honestly across the board on so many different levels, how we've been affected by it. Even for example, with the breakup of the home and the fathers, like I said, you have some good fathers, and then you have some too many that have went left. And we women have to take some of that blame because you do have some mothers. You have honestly helped your sons become opportunists. Seeking for love or putting your emotions out on your children, your sons and your daughters. Like they're saying that you'll have women that will coddle their boys but push your girls. I agree to a certain extent. Yes, that is true. Where the women are, we will be pushed so hard, and then you have a lot of men because of coming from single parent homes, um, with the mom, a single mom or whatever. You have a lot of men that are more emotional. So now when we get in situations with relationships and, like I said, hurt people, and dysfunction and stuff, you end up having some men we've seen that's become abusive, some men that don't take responsibility for their actions, for their choices. They have a hatred towards Black women. And a lot of it too is it stems from, like I said, it starts at home. So a lot of these things that we're dealing with, it started at home. It started from the household. So even like I said, just the breaking up of the family structure, it impacted us as a generation throughout history. Okay. So also, like I said, with the single moms, or even just women, period. I ain't down with the feminist movement. Okay. Look, I've been hurt. We all have been, but I've been hurt by Black men. I've been hurt by white people, Black, all kind of people. But I did not allow that to get me to a point where I won't ever be with a Black man again. And that's why I say we so many times put everybody in a hole. But until you heal and become whole or begin to work on yourself, and I'm gonna be honest, by the grace of God, that's how it's happened for me. Okay, if it weren't for Him, I probably would be responding a whole lot different myself. I probably would be, not probably, I would be a lot different than I am now. It took me um, it took God allowing me to see myself, allowing me to see my issues, allowing me to see my choices through people, through circumstances, allowing me to see that the things that I was doing was leading me down the wrong path. That's what was drawing me to even the type of men that I was dating. And as I mentioned, like I said, environment, all those things play a factor in different choices we make, even with relationships, what you're around, what you're accustomed to. Unconsciously we end up dating people or being in certain type of relationships because of our surroundings, our upbringing. That's why I said accountability. Everybody has their part to play as far as what they have contributed to the Black community and what we have contributed to ourselves in the continuation of the same cycles, patterns, and generational curses. Um, you have some men, they choose not to take care of their children. It takes two to have a baby. Okay. It takes two to have a child, whether it was in your sin or you're married, whatever, we have to take in consideration. It takes two. Okay. So when you choose not to be responsible as far as the basic well-being of your child, upkeep, um, whatever they need as a parent as a whole, it affects the children. It affects the mother. So we do have a lot of the division when it comes to the single parent homes, as far as the role, as far as parenting, because we do it in our sin and we be messing up, so then you end up getting with somebody that's got issues and, a whole nother ball game. But anywho, it does affect the children. But when I say about accountability, you have some women that will, like I mentioned before, will put men on child support or do things out of spite to hurt them. Even when we talk about the welfare system, a lot of things that I didn't even know about. Every woman does not just get on the system or have kids just to be on welfare or get assistance. You do have a lot that do that. But as I mentioned before, we still continue to stereotype everybody as a whole. But then when you have situations where it's a father that's not doing his part, not helping with the children, not what would you expect? It's a possibility you get put on child support. And then you have some mothers that will help enable your sons, family members that help enable your daughters, your sons and daughters, where you won't even hold them responsible or accountable for their choices or the type of parenting they do. We'll just brush stuff under the rug. Oh, they just like that, or they'll get over it, or, make up all kind of excuses to justify, why she might not be a good mother, or why she's not properly taking care of her kids, or why she's starting and sleeping with everybody else, but you watching the kids though, not helping her to be a responsible parent. Same thing, similar thing with men. You have some moms that you help enable your sons. Okay. A lot of times we see in especially in the Black community, where we will overcompensate for our children, or we've seen that throughout generations, where because of how you may have had kids, because of hurt, pain, issues, or whatever, we will overcompensate by buying clothes, shoes, different things like that to, I guess, show that you love your children or you love whoever it is, by buying them things instead of correcting them when they're wrong, instead of addressing the real issues. And that's why a lot of this stuff is good that it's coming out, that the truth is being revealed even more, and people are beginning to acknowledge, okay, yeah, I was wrong, I made mistakes, but this is what I do now to do better. Because if not, we're ending up in a downward spiral in our culture for our people. It's like I said, it's very unfortunate. So it just depends on the person. Like I said, everybody's not the same. You have, like I said, some good mothers and you have some good fathers, awesome fathers. I know some. Okay, that's why I said, because sometimes people are hurt, you will begin to project your frustration, your anger, your hurt on every man. Same thing with men. You do it on every woman when everyone's not the same. And take in consideration what factors or what contributed to why you feel the way you feel. I mentioned in the last video that I was saying that this can't all be mine. So even sometimes we get in relationships with people when they're hurt or we're hurt, we ended up having a whole mix of mess. So then it's like we're trying to figure out, like, this can't all be mine. Like, I didn't bring all this on you, or vice versa. So I guess it's like a mockery. The things that we've been experiencing in the Black community, it's really like a mockery, but then some of it we have to take responsibility for ourselves. As I said, we have been dealt with very wisely and strategically throughout history. Still to this day, the reality of it, even just the use of, like I said, the hate towards each other, it just, the division, the breakdown, not even just having those conversations. Yes, it was family members that got molested, that people swept stuff under the rug. Yes, some people had alcoholic mamas and daddies and people on drugs. And yes, like I mentioned, the redlining affected things. So even if you think about it, it's hard for you to even take care of your children or be the proper role model parent when you have a broken home, or when you don't even have the basic necessities, living conditions. All those things play a factor in it. And a lot of times, like I said, opening up your mind to look at things from different viewpoints and perspectives of how things affect people. Yes, we are all affected differently and we respond differently, but as a collective, as a whole, these are specific things that has affected the communities all over the world, and still to this day. We see the using of this system, how they will use the gifts and talents and abilities in the Black community, whether it be somebody that plays sports, can sing, dance, whatever it is. So that's when I say too about being dealt with wisely, how we're creative, we do things, talented and all outdoors. But yes, we help make everybody else rich. So when I say strategically, as far as what is it, not awarding, but looking for affection or acceptance everywhere else except where we should have got it first was at home. So when I say it's such a I don't know, it's so deep, y'all. It is so deep. But like I said, using the gifts, talents, and abilities to keep us stuck, prostituting people's gifts and talents, just for entertainment purposes. And you'll hear so quick, oh, get out of here, we don't want y'all here, or all this other stuff. But then you still use us, you still abuse us. But then at the same time, it's like a mockery, because then it's like we're playing ourselves. So we know that we help contribute to what our children see. We're help being an influence to it, but we still listen to the music. We still are attached to the system. So then we have all these areas that affected even the school system. Just so many things that it has affected in the Black community that we continue to ignore. And as I mentioned, buckle up. It's already going down. That's why I say at the end of the day, it's good to have these conversations, this dialogue, talking about different things, how people have been affected and different things. But at the end of the day, and the reality of it, you have the opportunity, or have had the opportunity, to make changes, to grow, like I said, to help heal in your family, have conversations about things that have affected certain situations or whatever, because you have, as a whole, we have contributed to the things that we're seeing. Even the emasculation of the man, we have contributed to it. So it's a lot of women that don't even want to take responsibility for that part. And like I said, some of this ain't all ours. Some of us, I'm an 80s baby, like I said, so some of this, we're being impacted by it and thinking that it's not going to come up again in the next generation, our kids, these same different things that we're dealing with. So continuing on, so even outside of the Black community, so those that are what is it? I guess say non-colored. No, I don't say colored. That don't sound good. Other races. Okay. So when we look at, I was looking at some videos the other day where I guess little TikTok videos, they were talking about different races, talking about different things and conversations that we don't have. So it is something where we do see where, okay, so the system, as far as the what is it? The prison industrial system, the school system, the different things as far as living arrangements, all these different things that Black people have dealt with or whatever. It was strategically for us. Even they say the police and all these other different things. So then it's like we basically adapted the culture of the European race. Okay, so basically things that they did, they had us doing. Let me reword that. We display characteristics that they did. Okay, so let me give some broad examples. Like I said, we're gonna be all the way 100 on here. The homosexuality, okay, the drugs. So it's like, they of course we know they put drugs in the community. We know it's different things that they did that contributed to our downfall, to the dysfunction, to the just different things as a whole that has happened to us. But then it's like putting your they help shape our culture. That's exactly what it is. They help to shape our culture in the way they felt like it should look. So then we begin seeing generation after generation, off type of things that we were seeing. The over sexualized things in the social media or entertainment business, or just in general, TV, mainstream media, all those different things. The killing, the shootings, whatever, different things that we experience. But then we see the hypocrisy in it too. So it's like you help contribute to it and put the necessary tools, or whatever you want to call it, in place for us to kind of destroy ourselves, not kind of, to help destroy ourselves. So then, like I said, people are so talented, gifted in the Black community, but then still got issues and dysfunction. We're seeing that come out more and more. A lot of we didn't see a lot of marriages or healthy marriages. We still don't. It's not everybody. More people are getting married, but if you don't heal and you don't deal with stuff, then how can you be in a relationship? So now we're hearing all these different things about relationship issues that people are having, or mistaken identity, or all this other things that are happening that have constituted from a disruptive and destructive mindset that we've had to deal with, and basically have become comfortable with or common with, from the aspect of we've gotten used to the dysfunction. We've gotten used to the perversion. We've gotten used to the shooting and the killing. And it's sad, and it's very serious, y'all, because like I said, God is judging this stuff. And that's the thing when I say people don't think about the accountability part and the responsibility part. And then we wonder why we can't get along or why we having so many issues, because you even have parents that are still in a dysfunctional mindset. Their parents still don't even see anything wrong, or they did no wrong. They won't acknowledge their contributions to the things that they're seeing now in their own children or their grandchildren, those generational curses that pass from generation to generation that we've overlooked, whether it be the kids out of wedlock, alcoholics, drug addicts, people losing their mind, having mental health issues, which ain't nothing but spirits. Okay, the manifestation of spirits are just on an all-time high right now. So when we go to, like I said, the other races, they end up adapting, I guess, our culture or things that we do. And some things, like I said, it has been manipulated. Thank you, Host. That's exactly what it is. Things that we have done in the Black communities, or even like the entertainment or just growth, like I said, whether it be sports, whatever, it ends up being manipulated as soon as you get out there. So basically, it's like in order for us to be accepted, you got to be famous. In order for you to make it, you got to be hood rich. In order for you to make it, you got to turn against your people, and that's the thing that is, like I said, that division. So then I'll hear certain stories about how, it was a few white young ladies that were saying that the Blacks were trying to look like them and vice versa. But when you think about it, that is kind of true. Because when you think about it, like, okay, so as far as the Black community, we see more and more women of other races getting injections, getting the fillers, getting all this work done, right? And then us, what we do, wear the long weave, the long hair. We're more flashy, as far as Black folk. I guess it's like that thing when, you want to feel like you've made it, or show people that you've made it, or your kids have made it. So, you got to show everybody that, oh, they graduated here. And everybody don't mean it in a negative way, but it's too many that do it just to show people, yeah, this child made it and that one did it and they got this house and that car. It's like we have to, like I said, overcompensate to show that we are successful, to show that we have things. But then we don't help each other in our own communities. We don't help each other build each other up. I want to say thank you to those ones that are actually helping, using their gifts, talents, and abilities to help build up the communities, whether it be business. Back in the day, we had boys and girl clubs and stuff. Don't even have that anymore. You don't see too many of that anymore. As far as big brother, big sister type things where you can help, but you got to heal before you can help somebody. We don't want to teach our children to be thoughts and hoes. I'm seeing little girls 11 years old pregnant. We want better for the next generation. We want better for our children. We don't want to continue in the same cycles and patterns over and over again. Okay. So then, like I said, it's like a copycat thing that we have with other races. It's like tit for tat, but then nobody acknowledges like you are using it. It's exactly what it is. But then too, because of the Black community being told that you're not beautiful, that you'll never be anything, or you got to overdo it just to be accepted. Now it's like the women have went so far with beauty, went so far with using their body. What example does that show for our girls? What example does it show even for those who may want to be married? So now we have such a hate that's towards our own people on both sides. So like, it's like we've been played like chess. Like, it's like we basically have been played like chess, dealt with so wisely where we don't even see it. And as things continue to unfold and unravel, I see more and more how damaged and hurt people in our community are. How many open wounds that haven't healed just by conversations I've been hearing by some people. Just the cold heartedness, the nonchalant, just forget everybody. And I get it to a certain extent, because when you start dealing with the same stuff over and over again, it makes you not want to deal with people. It's hurtful. But at the end of the day, like I said, it was orchestrated. But the important part is waking up. So like I said, even the contributions, throughout history, taken in consideration, all nations that have contributed to a part of the dysfunction, a part of the slavery, hurt, pain, the school system, this mainstream stuff where the Black communities have been put on the forefront, but then at the same time, we don't want to divorce the system. We still feel like it's like you sense that many Black individuals sense that they can change the system, or change the entertainment industry, where really you end up having to, what is it? If you can't beat them, join them. That's what ends up happening. If you can't beat them, join them. So then what? Videos of people shooting, killing, people end up shooting, killing. What you see, everything is taught and learned. Same thing with the women. So then we see all this dysfunctional stuff in this generation, that you have to be half naked just to get attention. Your body. All these women, even Black women now. That's why I say we talk about and point the finger at everybody else, but some of the stuff we is doing, we have done. Even in our own communities, with the injections, the fillers, all these different things, not knowing that you're already beautiful. That's why it is important for us to affirm our children. A lot of us grew up on not communicating, not talking, not showing affection or having affection shown to us. So then you have a generation of people that are looking for affection, looking for love, most of the time in all the wrong places. So then it becomes distorted and it becomes toxic. So you have a generation also that doesn't know how to take responsibility and accountability for their part. So if you have parents that don't acknowledge, or even family members or loved ones or friends that don't say, hey, bro, you wrong. You need to take care of your children, or you shouldn't be cheating on your wife. Or, hey, girl, put some clothes on. You sending the wrong message. We don't have those type conversations because too many get offended so quick because somebody's telling you the truth. I told y'all the truth will set you free. But what are the results that we're seeing of this? Cycles of children out of wedlock, cycles of toxic relationships. We're seeing the role reversal, where, as they say, more mannish women, you're having to overcompensate and work extra hard just for what you want to have. Like I said, this big old feminist movement, power to the women. That's why I said some stuff, if I would have known, but thank God for his timing. I love my Black men. I do. Ain't nothing like a Black man. Okay. That's why I say everyone is not bad. Every Black man is not bad. And it is important. We play a part in it, women, as far as encouraging our men, uplifting them, healing, learning to close your legs, knowing that that's not going to keep a man. Some women do that. Not all have done that. Not all do that. So we so quickly group each other in all these different categories. And most of the time we see broadcasted the negative ones, or not really the ones that have changed and grown. So that's why I like even seeing videos of different people that will share different things that they've been through, struggles or whatever, and how they've come out of it, or what has helped them, or how they've helped change. Even like I said, with the church, we have allowed, like I said, a whole system that has even prostituted the church, and we allowed it. Like I said, some things first was out of ignorance. So then we see the displaying of characteristics that came from, some people say, the evangelicals or white America, whatever you want to call it, that help was brought into even the church. So then it pushes people away from the church because it's gotten perverted. Not all, but too many. So then let's look at another viewpoint. Let's look at other races. Same thing, just look a little different, right? But we get the worst rep for everything. We'll point out all the different things that we go through, right? can point out all the different things about our children, can point out all the different things about marriages, non-marriages, that we did it to ourselves. Yes, some stuff we have done to ourselves. But then some of this stuff, like I said, we've had some help bring about the dysfunction and the confusion. So then when we have other races and other cultures, they will adapt, I guess you say swag or adapt certain things that we do. But then they don't get the same outcome. Okay. That's why I say it's the hypocrisy. And it's the irony of it is we see it so most people should so transparently of the using of the Black communities, how much it has caused damage, and we still stay entangled. So like I said, even with the church, so many go to church, have been going to church. That's why I say, I ain't even gonna lie, with the pandemic, it has really opened up my eyes to even more things as far as people will go to church every Sunday. But as soon as the pandemic hit, some people ain't even been back to church probably since the pandemic. Okay. It doesn't make sense. So it's like we're going about, I guess, a role, or going about, like I said, being played like chess. We've been doing things as how we have been instructed to, unconsciously and subconsciously, knowing that it was a evil hand in all these different things that we have not acknowledged, and many still choose not to acknowledge their part for what they played in it. So even it bothers me and it alarms me, and it's concerning even with the church. So that's why I said, now when I look at it, and I said lots of I didn't know, many of us didn't know. When you in the bed with certain stuff, you're not gonna preach on it. If it's about money, you're not gonna talk about it. But then now we have, like I said, a whole generation that's running amok in dysfunction, dealing with all these type of issues, hurt, pain, perversion, all this different stuff. And it's like, nobody was going to say nothing still. That's concerning. So then when we see judgment all over, when we see God cleaning up his house, because he come for the church first, cleaning up his people, that's all of us have to give an account. I would be nervous or have a fear, even a reverence. That's why I say, do some people even really fear God? Do you even really believe he is who he say he is? Because when you get too comfortable to a place of, that's how you get burned. Okay, because now, because of no conversations being had, now you have people falling away from the church because of the dysfunction. Then you have, like I said, you have the division in white church, Black church, all these different things. So then we see all these things that are happening with, like I said, with different races. Now it's like thank you, Holy Spirit. When the scripture talks about, I believe it's in Matthew, when it talks about in the last days, there'd be rumors of wars, kingdom against kingdom. In the last days, things will wax cold. So many things that are unfolding that we're seeing that are prophecy, that God is allowing us to see more clearly right now. But then we, I guess, can't grasp the times that we're in. So even realizing how we picked up characteristics and adapted learned behavior, taught behavior that was learned through white culture, through other cultures, and other races, and basically mushed it all together. So now it's like people don't know who they are. That's why I say it is so important. And I understand now why it is so important to have identity, to know who you are as a person, for the Black communities to know who we are, to know where we come from. That's why the fight is so strong as far as the talking about history, because this is a breaking down of a system, an evil demonic system that has went from generation to generation. It's time. It's about that time. But a lot of times, like I said, unless you are in somebody else's shoes, and I'm be honest, some people, if you're not Black, you're not gonna understand. And you got some Black folk that's special that still don't get it either. But it is different. That's why I said it's important to respect the difference, how we are affected, especially, like I said, as a whole, everybody's affected differently. as far as upbringing choices and all those different things. It does affect us differently. But we seem to tend to not be able to grasp that part. So even like I said, on the mainstream media, that's all you see. And I've honestly myself have gotten tired. It hurts to keep seeing our people because I am Black. So it should make you feel some type of way, to see the hate and the division. It should make you feel some type of way. Things still going the same way. Nothing has changed. And at the end of the day, it's just like even the Exodus. The folk is not going to change. Some people are not going to change. They're not going to acknowledge their contributions to what has affected the Black communities. And then some Black folk not going to take responsibility for their part. So everybody has a part to play in this. Everybody has an account to God to give. That's why it's so important right now. I'm not talking about tomorrow. Right now, to take responsibility of your part. And like I said, and those who contributed, all affiliates, all nations worldwide, all affiliates that have contributed to things that we have dealt with. But not only us, other races too. You have people within their own race that are battling stuff, that are dealing with stuff. So everybody has to give an account. But as believers, as God is continuing to reveal in these times prophecy, reveal that he's not playing with us, revealing the dysfunction. Let God have his way. He is either way, but he's allowing us and giving us opportunity to wake up. It's not by coincidence, the division. It's not by coincidence. Okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. The separation of the wheats and the tares. That's one of the scriptures that came to me too. The separation. So because of me being Black, because it's like seeing your brothers and your sisters, regardless if I'm related to them or not, it hurts. Who wants to keep seeing people dying, getting killed, murdered, being on it? It's dysfunctional. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to continue to see it. So when God begins to he's getting our attention to wake us up, to pay attention, because it could be your child that is next. It could be your loved one. God will have our undivided attention. He's already getting it. He's already getting it. And I would hate for, and I guess I think about it too, like in the last days, knowing that we relate back to the days of Noah, where everybody's not going to listen, everybody's not going to get, and everybody's not going to hear. Those who have an ear to hear will hear. It boils down to sin. It boils down to us living in our sin, not acknowledging, things that we've touched, things that we've done. And yes, it does, things that we go through in life, it contributes to it. It does hurt and it's hurtful, to not only get it from our own people, loved ones. You have some children that don't even talk to their parents no more, because we didn't communicate properly, not knowing how to address certain things or talk about it, or being shut up about it. So it's like people want you to understand and be able to handle something, but the pressure has gotten so strong for so many individuals, and they're hollering mental health, but it's nothing but spiritual warfare. The manifestations that's over generation that are beginning to manifest at full-fledged, wide open. So because we don't want to listen, because we can't acknowledge the part that we play, that we can't acknowledge the system, it's like the Matrix, it's got to break. We don't want to divorce. We don't want to divorce Egypt, as Pastor Darby would say. We don't want to divorce it. We want to be entangled. And being entangled is costing people their lives, causing people their mental, losing control. What is it to gain your soul? And then you have so many divided. But this is why I thank God for who he is. I thank God for being an accountant, for holding us accountable. But I thank him for his grace and his mercy, for saving me. I thank God for deliverance. It's always a work in progress. But some of us have had to learn as we go. It's never too late to make a change. So that's how now I can love my brothers and sisters of all different races and colors, even those that they may hate me. He says, pray for those who despitefully use you. But this is an awakening, and this is a wake-up call. For my people, the Black folk, wake up, pay attention. Yes, we have been dealt with very wise and strategically, but then we also had a hand in it because we ain't want to let go of the system, a system that is really for your destruction anyways, because when you look on mainstream all the time, people be wealthy, rich, and everything else, and then they dead a week later. So was it worth it? Is it worth having man after man after man? Is it worth having woman after woman after woman? Is it worth living in sin? No, we ain't perfect. We make mistakes, but it's going to cost you. The wages of sin is death. So we are seeing death in relationships, death in marriages. Like I said, we're so quick to point the finger, but don't want to take accountability or responsibility for our part to all the things that are happening. So then when I have conversations with people or they talk about different things as far as like somebody told me, you make it look easy. It's hard. Don't ever think it's okay to just look in your sin. In my sin, I had 3 little girls. I had to learn from it. In my sin, I lost my mind, overdosed. We touch stuff that we shouldn't touch. But because people try to cope, we don't have the conversations about dealing with the pressures of life, how things have contributed, but we'll tell people, go on and move on. No, it's affecting people. So that's what I mean when I say God is so precise and strategic with his timing, even how he will allow us to go through things and get us to a point where he's trying to get us healed and on top of using your voice. Because being silent is just as bad as not saying, it is not saying anything at all. Us not saying anything at all in compromising has cost us people throughout each generation being hush hush. I serve a life-changing God. You know, he is merciful and it's not easy. So that's why I tell even these young girls, look, keep your legs closed, okay? Men, keep your stuff in your pants. Because that's why all this, look, away with soul ties. We hear about that more. Soul ties, yes, it's real. Yes, it's a possibility. If you have kids before marriage, in your sin, it's a possibility you might be taking care of them by yourself. It's a possibility that some men have not matured yet. It's a possibility some women haven't matured yet. It's a possibility, honestly, that yes, you have some men that are opportunists. You have some women that are opportunists. I remember back in the day, the thing was dating military men. That was the thing I remember growing up hearing. So you could be good, I guess, or whatever. So, but then too, in other races, the same thing. You just got, strategic hoes. In the white community, in the Asian community, look, everywhere. They just a little bit smarter. You know, they say they don't want to put up with our mouth and stuff like that as far as men, but they just strategic with theirs because they end up doing the same thing, right? So like I said, everybody pointing the finger about all these different things and sin and foolishness, and all entangled. All of us have been entangled. The wages of sin is death. That's all you see is so many women can't even keep a stable relationship. So many men can't keep a stable relationship. All this dysfunction that's coming out more and more. So you have all these broken people now, broken pieces. But thank God that he's a restorer. That's one of my biggest prayers. And that's why I'm thankful, because even going into 2022, y'all, as God is continuing to move in every situation, God has his hand all in this stuff, all over the world. The pandemic, the uprising of people being held accountable for their choices that have gotten away so long. That's why it's so important to have these conversations, to work on yourself, because that goes for Black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever nationality you are, whatever race, culture, religion, judgment. Taking accountability for your part. God is putting it on us. America is being judged. Those conversations that we didn't want to have. And then I noticed too, it's a lot of folk that I don't even think they know they're working in witchcraft. I be looking at some of these videos. Everybody's a prophet now, and everybody's saying this, that, and the third peace, and there is no peace. That was say the separation of the weeds and the wheat. Separation of, it's a lot of toxic stuff. That's what helps bring us about confusion too. So a lot of people are into this. I've been hearing the spiritism and the energy and all this other stuff, touching demonic stuff. But it's been normalized on TV. So even the things, like I said, for our young girls, our children, it's a fight to even try to keep our kids away from certain things, because of the dysfunction that we have on everywhere you look, the heightened perversion. So my thing is, let's look at it like this. If you show your body, promiscuous, showing everything all the time, being thottish, prostituting your kids, thinking there's nothing wrong with it, whether it be the dress, the apparel, even the women that do it. But then we have these men that are perverts, right? They come out, and now it was just a thing recently. Mom was telling me about coming out that they was raping girls, little young girls in school. So it's kind of like, let me think the right words. What do you think will come from some of this stuff? Even though, yes, it's wrong, but it's like being putting something on a platter. So if you have it all hanging out, if you giving somebody all what they want, and basically that's what the enemy has done. He is so crafty, where how he would, like I said, play us like chess, like a game, to where he helps us contribute to our demise, our destruction, the attacks, the abuse, the dysfunction. But he can't make us do it, but he entices us with the entertainment industry. He entices us with money, clothes. Some people will, step all over you just to get to the next level, just to get to the next place. Some people will sell their body and get whatever just for the come up. Sell their soul just for the come up. Use and abuse the system. Welfare, whatever the categories are broad. The moral of the story is God we have to give an account. So yes, judgment is in the land all over. We're going into a new year. We've thought, and felt that, we had time, right? We got time, right? You got time to live up and turn up. This ain't the time. This is the time to heal and grow. And if you don't, like I said, you have that choice and you have that opportunity to do what you want to do. We have free will. God gives us free will. You have the free choice to serve who you want to serve, live how you want to live. You have that choice. But the thing about it is, don't allow it get to a point where it's too late. It's many people right now that don't have the opportunity to even say, dang, I missed it. Dang, I should have did this differently, or I should have said something to my kids, or I should have, had this conversation, or I should have tried to do this differently. So it's been so many that have been a part of and have been affiliated in different ways to help with the destruction of people, God's creation, and thought that you got away with it. I even felt like that way sometimes myself, that I feel like folk didn't got away with stuff. I'm like, Lord, that's why I was like, this can't all be mine. This can't all be mine. But then I began to realize the more and more he dealt with me when he gave me the accountant, like I said, Jesus Christ, call him what you want to call him. I know, like I said, so many different hats, that everyone will have to give an account of their part. So I strive to guard my heart, treat people like I want to be treated. Sometimes you got to let some stuff slide, but at the same time, God is God. People don't want to let go. They don't want to give, especially in the Black communities, they don't want to give us a fair chance. You don't, and you're not. So many still are not. Who likes to deal with, it's sad. You go to the hair store. Every Black person don't steal. Every Black person is not a horrible person. But then you got to do it. You go to the hair store, you being watched like you're gonna steal something. You know, it's stereotyped. We get the worst stereotypes and rep for everything. You know, then we so against our own selves. You know, you do better, come up, you treat your own people, you get a promotion and you get special. Yes, all of that stuff is real. It happens. All of it happens and it still happens. But then you have a few that have gotten to the point where they're tired, they've gotten weary, where you're tired of dealing with the fighting back and forth. We want to heal, we want to grow. So I'm at a point where let the Lord do. He's doing it anyways. He's going to have his way. But it's important to have those conversations. It's important to heal and stop making excuses. You know, we're so quick to make excuses and justify this is why I do this and this is why I do that. Half the time, like I said, some people in the bed with it. That's why a lot of conversations even now are in the uproar, because you in the bed with it, sleeping with the enemy. Sleeping, I mean, come on. Taking things out of context, not looking at things for exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. From the different races, the cultures, the everything that is happening. It's exactly what it is. And yes, we are in those times. We are in the last days. So it is not, we will not go into 22 the same. We will not go into 22 the same. So what did it say in the last days they were doing? Many different things, right? Drinking and partying and lovers of themselves. All the things that we are seeing is scripture. Whether people want to believe it or not, it is scripture. There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. You have people that have all this money. I'm by this, I'm hide in the ground, I'm hide under rock. You will not be able to hide from God's wrath. This is why it is so important to get your mind right and get your heart right. No one will be able to hide or run. An account is going to be made. So those that we felt like they got away, nobody got away with nothing. Even though it might have been for generations, whether it been in our own families, whether it been in the system, the government, whether it been in different races, people pointing the finger, nobody has gotten away. Get your heart right. Get your mind right. Buckle up. It's already going down. That's why I said it's important. Believers, stop all this look. You're pushing people away from the church. It's time to heal. Many members, but one body. That means Black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever. But respecting that if I hurt, you should be hurting. If you see dysfunction, you should be bothered by it. How are you still preaching peace, prosperity, and all? Yes, not saying those things won't happen, but it's some people that think that they're going to get that may not be getting certain things. Because you're so consumed with the prosperity gospel. You're so consumed with getting the bag. You're so consumed with being successful. God will sometimes snatch everything from you to bring you to your knees. Don't ever get to a point where, you get so caught up in the things of this world to where you forget about your livelihood, your family. You forget about how things can affect everything. Nobody will be able to run. So, I mean, where are you going? I mean, we serve, as far as belief, we serve a God that sits high and looks low. There is no running. We seeing earthquakes. Come on, tornadoes, unforeseen things happening that we didn't even expect to happen in history. We are in the last days. But I want to experience God's goodness. So that's why I thank him for saving me. And I thank him for continuing to work on me. Because like I said, you have so many people that are hurt, that are going through things, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. Don't allow it to be too late when the doors of the ark closed, it was too late. And people say, I see it now, but it was too late. Don't play with time. God is time, okay? And he's very precise with his time. That's why I said it's not by coincidence. All these different things that we're seeing, he gives us warning, right? We see it in the scriptures. We see it in the Bible. We see it through prophecy. That's why I say, even like I said, some of these folk, they're just dibbling and dabbling, and it's honestly messing with witchcraft, bringing about confusion. The Bible talks about false prophets, sorcerers. So we shall see. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Let me wrap this up. So we shall see, right? That God is God. We shall see. So that's why it's important to get your heart right. Learn to forgive. Some people are not going to say, I'm sorry. They are not going to acknowledge their part. They are not going to let God's people go. So God is going to have to show, you might as well say like Pharaoh, show this system, show the government. He's going to have to show even some of us because, God help us with our unbelief. Because we've heard of the end time so long. We've heard of so many things so long, it's because we become numb. We become numb to it. Don't be numb to it. It's an awakening. So this part, it's a warning. We will not go into 2022 the same. Like I said, don't even play church no more. Get all the way right. If you going somewhere and they ain't right, look, ask God to lead and direct your path. Stop being so judgmental all the time. We all go through stuff, but be of an example, be a role model, be of help, encourage somebody. You got some people you can't ride with everybody. You can't do what everybody else does as believers. We can't. Because then we send off the wrong message and it pushes people away. You have people in the body of Christ that are falling away. The Bible speaks of this. It is not God's will or what he wants for anybody that they shall perish. But you have free will and you have the opportunity. You have the chance to get your heart right, get your mind right. Accountability. God is an accountant. He's a judge. He's a healer. He's a deliverer. He's a father. He's a mother. He's whatever you need him to be. But he don't play games either. So like I said, people want to sing opera and overlook stuff, but he has a wrathful side too. We're seeing that. God is allowing all kind of things to happen. So many things behind the scenes that we couldn't even fathom, imagine what's going on. But we serve a God that is a behind the scene God, right? So he sees all and he knows all. So he's warning his people to wake up and get up. Pay attention. Get on your assignment. Get on your post. Stop competing. Stop trying to justify your sin. Sin is sin. We all fall short of the glory. He who without sin cast the first stone. Get out of bed with the enemy. Because sometimes, it'll cost you. It will cost you. And like I said, I don't want any of us to miss it. That's why I said, Lord, whatever you're doing in this season, don't do it without me. Have mercy on your people. Forgive us where we've fallen short. But it comes a time where you have to make a decision. You have to make a choice. There is no more, straddling the fence. It's either you get healed and you get well, or you get left behind. People want to keep fussing about doctrines and all this other thing. Come out of sin. Come out from among them. We still supporting all this dysfunctional stuff. We contributing to it. So what can you really say? The word says even the very elect to be deceived. I want to enjoy the fruits of labor. It hurts my heart to see, that we still in times where, the elderlies, I can't even imagine, those throughout history, that fought, and to know that we still ain't got nowhere. That we still battling and dealing with the same strategic plans that just look a little different. Same dysfunctions. So it's like, do people really want better? Do you really want to be healed, my Black folk? Do you really want to change, to grow, because folk out here losing their mind. Folk are getting killed right and left, children. And that's the thing about with God being such a wrathful God that he don't play. He will take your whole family out. Don't play with God. It's folk losing families by the body, by the numbers, death toll rising. So that's why I say I want no parts of it. If I got to speak on certain things that's uncomfortable, I will. I stuttering, uncomfortable, whatever, I will. Because like I said, it'd be a lot of times it's the ones that want to be on mainstream and talk about a lot of stuff. You ain't even talking about nothing. You talking about money and yes, all that stuff is nice, but look where we at right now. That's why I say I can relate to the scripture, peace, and there is no peace. Yes, better days are coming. But are you talking to people about coming out of sin? Stop making the wrong decisions. Work on yourself. Heal, grow, mature. No. You talking about your husband. How you gonna work on a husband and you still dysfunctional? So when you get him, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna know how to do him right. When you get if you want a woman so bad, you ain't gonna know how to treat him right. You get that business, you can't keep it. If you don't learn how to maintain, appreciate what you have now, if you abusing money now, come on. So sometimes it takes loss to appreciate what you actually have. I don't want to lose nothing else. I done lost enough. I done been through enough. That's why I say I hope this helps somebody to know that you have to come out of sin. It's not easy. Yes, those things from your childhood, like I said, those things from history, and many of us didn't know. Black communities, white communities. I've met people, know people that out of ignorance, they said things. They didn't know either. Some of them didn't know. Other races. But when you know, okay, now it's time to acknowledge it. Because if not, you might get caught in the crossfire in judgment when you don't acknowledge, okay, I didn't know. Lord, forgive me for my part or my family's part. Yes, you got some people, some folk, grandmas. Yes, your grandma racist. Your mama was racist. So what you think your kid's gonna be racist? Like I said, people, it's the ignorance of all these different things we're seeing. Yes, some things you say, it is toxic. Some things that you do is hurtful. Different races, all cultures. Yes, it is affecting everybody. So you think God gonna judge this stuff? You don't think he already is? Look around. Look around. Listen to all the things that are the conversations, the uproar, the pandemic. God will have our undivided attention. These things that y'all think gonna save y'all, it ain't. We only got one savior, and that was Jesus Christ. So getting the ain't gonna save you. It's like we try to find so many different ways to get out of change or out of order. You know, it's got to be another way, right? This is a rhetorical question. It's got to be another way. It's got to be another way for me to make it into heaven. It's got to be another way where I can do what I want to do and then still be prosperous and my kids be fine and my family and my generation. It's got to be another way. It still hasn't worked. No other way. There's only one way. That's through Jesus Christ. So, like I said, we shall see. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Going into the new year, be safe. Like I said, be mindful, be observant. Plead the blood of Jesus over your children, your family. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.